What's going on, guys? How we doing out there? I'm Cody Intervold, PDGA member 148739, and welcome back to my channel, Off the Chains. Today I'm going to be recapping my final round of the Discraft Great Lakes Open that took place this past weekend, July 29th through the 31st. I did a video earlier that on rounds 1 and 2 that I did over at the hotel I was staying at in Farmington, Michigan. Was going to do the final round yesterday, but I was just so tired and just wanted to get home that I decided to do it today. But I did promise you that I would get at least the round tournament recap done. So here we are. Go ahead and jumping right into the final round. As we were taking place over at Kensington, the Kensington courses, that was Black Locust Blue, which last year in MA4 when I played this, I played the course from the shorts. This year I was playing it from the longs. Started off really good. Drives were feeling really good. I was kind of worried about how I was going to play that round, considering I was dealing with a really bad back issue. The hotel bed I was staying on was like an old school box spring mattress, so I really had no cushion to it, so it kind of destroyed my back. So I didn't really know how much power and how long I was going to be able to go without being in pain. But I actually didn't made it through the entire round without being in any pain whatsoever, so that was actually a good thing. First hole felt really good. I had a good shot with my culverin. I shot it really wide over. It was a straight tunnel shot, of par four, 520 feet, and I decided to do that. Everybody was doing the hyzer route to land, get a good placement shot, at least get for the second shot to get it up there for the birdie. Had myself a weird stance on the second shot and put nothing on it. Ended up having a way like 70 feet away for the birdie, and then put it about 60 feet, 55, 60 feet towards the basket. So I had about my a 10, 15 foot look to save the par, and of course I whiffed it, stuck right to my hand, and missed a 10 footer to save the par, and started right off with a bogey like that. Going into hole two, it was another 300. It was a par three, 366 foot hole. Same thing. Ended up having a really good drive with my culverin laid up for that shot. Put myself about 15, 20 feet out for the par save. Whiffed on the par again. So started my round off with doing two over, which didn't feel like the greatest in the world. So I just had to tell myself to get it back. Um, and then I really told myself that hole three and walking up the hole three, I was like, well, my drives and upshots feel good. It's just my putting that I need to work on. And then right as soon as I said that, I early released my Zen Essence on hole three, which was a hard left to right hook shot and 411 foot par three. And I ended up hitting first tree available and put myself in the woods. Had to pitch out for the second shot. Put nothing on my third shot. Went back into the woods. Had to pitch out for the fourth shot. Had to lay up for the fifth shot, and then tapped in my six and took a triple bogey. So through the first three holes, I was already five over. So I was already kind of pissed off at myself. Felt like I wanted to just say, what's if this is how I'm going to play? I might as well not even be here anymore. Might as well just drop and keep going, go home from here. But I kept telling myself, you don't want to do that. You got to put yourself in a good spot. You got something to play for. You got to finish with a good rating and stuff like that. So I just told myself to get it back. Um, Hole four, I ended up taking a birdie right after I told myself to just focus and take your shot. And I ended up having a really good shot with my essence. Got the turn that I wanted to do on it, and I ended up putting myself about 5-10 feet out, and then just barely made the birdie putt, which I was kind of annoyed with because it's like, come on, like my putting just felt really weird all weekend. Couldn't get it going. Um, Holes 5 through 9, I ended up parring all five of them. It was just all like easy holes that I should have birdied. A couple of them that I missed the birdie by about 25 feet, and then I had to tap in par on, I think it was hole 8 and 9. Yeah. So it was really annoying, but I ended up getting pars on them, so I couldn't really complain. So I was able to walk away with no harm, no foul. But through the front nine, I ended up shooting a four over, which to me wasn't obviously ideal. You obviously want to shoot better than that, especially when you're trying to get that rating up to 900, which it just seems like I'm constantly been playing really bad tournaments lately. So I'm going to try into next couple weeks off. I'm going to try and get some more practice in. Going into the back nine, unfortunately, I took a bogey on hole 10. I just ended up missing another 25, 30-foot putt and took a bogey on that one, so I put myself at five over. Hole 11 ended up being a really good par save. I early released on off the drive. It was a really tight hole. It's like a bunch of trees surrounding it. There's a tight little gap to go left to right straight to the basket. And I early released it and hit the tree and shot myself into the woods on the left. Saw that I had a really good wide open look to get to at least try and get it there. Put a lot of pop on it and at least get it up there and have myself a look to save. They try and get up and down, save the par, if not tapping a bogey and walk on. Um, Ended up going with my instinct and ended up throwing it really good. Ended up putting myself about 65, 70 feet out and just had to line up my shot. Took a really deep breath and just said, I'm probably going to take a bogey here, but just get it there so you don't have to take a double bogey at worst. And ended up getting a really good jump off the turn right off the release. Ended up going right directly to it and ended up just going over the top of the basket. So I ended up saving a 70 footer for par on hole 11. So that felt really good. And then unfortunately, me doing me things followed up with a double bogey on hole 12 that I just had a couple really bad shots and couldn't get out of it. And then holes 13 through 18, I ended up parring out. So I ended up finishing my final round at 7 over, unfortunately, shooting an 864 rated round, which was 10 points below my rating, and then event averaging out at 857, getting up to finishing at 12 over and finishing tied for 100th place out of a possible 172. So overall, I can't really complain because the experience is always a good time. When I was out there, I got a chance to get Paul Macbeth, Adam Hammis, Chris Dickerson, Terry Miller, uh, Scott Stokely, and also I think that's it. Dickerson, Brody Smith too. Brody Smith was able to get all their autographs, which was actually pretty cool because Hammis was actually signing autographs, and he had about maybe 25 people in his line, and probably less than that, like about 15, 16. And so I said, okay, let me run and go grab a disc real quick. I grabbed two, so I get one signed for me, one signed for my buddy Alex Ator, and I when I got there, there were still about 15, 16 people in it. So I decided to hop in the line. At least I'm like, hey, at least I can get Hammis's autograph. That's something. As I got in line, not even 45, 50 seconds later, Paul Macbeth, Chris Dickerson, and Brody Smith all walk up. And I was able to get all four of their autographs within 5 minutes compared to last year when you had to wait like an hour and a half to get Paul Macbeth's autograph. Paul Macbeth is super nice to meet in person. It's the very first time I've ever met Paul in person, and he was super easy to talk to. He kind of gave me some words of encouragement for my final round, which unfortunately I wasn't able to follow through with him. But yeah, I was able to meet him. It was super cool. And then as I'm walking away, Scott Stokely, if you guys follow my podcast at all, I ended up running into him and actually was able to get his autograph and talk to him for a little bit. So it was actually a pretty cool experience with that, minus the really bad playing I did. Huge shout out to my buddy Ryan Cook, who ended up doing a phenomenal round, minus the final round. We all kind of, and my buddy Todd Cavender, we kind of all fell apart towards the end there, but he ended up getting a top 75 finish. Ryan Cook did, and then Todd also finished, I believe, in like just in the top 100 too. I think he got like 92nd or something, and I ended up finishing 100th. So all three of us probably didn't play up to what we wanted, but they were able to play above the rating. I unfortunately was not. I ended up event averaging out at 857 rated, which is 17 points below my rating. So this next rating system that comes out, I'll have Illinois States on there that ended up being a few points below. I'll have having the Smooth Series that ended up being a few points below, and then I have this one that's 17 points below. So I have a really good feeling, unless I can have a really decent round at the Oswego thing that I'm going to try and play Friday. I'm probably going to take a hit with my rating and probably go down at least 10 points. And I'm okay with that. As long as I'm not as long as I'm not under 855, I can live with that. I'm 874 rated right now, and I need to stay in MA3, which I don't think I'll do with that big of a drop. But with this rating system, you never know. It could fluctuate. So, yeah, I just didn't really play up to what I wanted to. A lot of experiences on this trip for sure, including my hotel. Like I said, the mattresses were awful there. I had no fridge or microwave, so that was a fun experience. Shower, the drain on the shower drained, but it didn't like drain it consistently like a normal shower would. So within like a few minutes of being in the shower, my feet were underwater with it filling up with with that not draining right away or draining too fast. And so I had that experience. Um, what else experience did I have? Oh, my key didn't work the second night I was there. I ended up having to get a brand new key, so that was fun. I had a bunch of people surrounding my car, so that was always a fun thing too. You never know with creepers being in Michigan. Um, fucked up my back pretty good. Shot really bad golf. Got to meet some of my good favorite pros, and got to hang out with some of my good friends. So playing wise, didn't really live up to my expectations, but overall the experience was a good time. Probably won't be doing it next year, as I really, really, really want to do DDO, that used to be known as GBO. I really want to do that next year, so that's going to be on my bucket list to do. So hopefully I can get on the sign-ups for that and get on that tournament, because that's a really fun one to do. Um, Spectated it in 2016, so I definitely want to play it next year in 2023. Got a lot of more things I want to do next year. Maybe take a few tournaments off, just because with the girlfriend now, I do need to spend some time with her and can't spend it all focusing on disc golf, and unfortunately, so schedule might be. I'm not saying I'm not going to be playing next year, but schedule definitely might take a few tournaments off and kind of limit my schedule. But yeah, I get the next few weeks off, and then I have Unstable Open for the next Greater Joliet Tour Series event, which is again, unfortunately, at Highland Park, that I don't necessarily do the greatest at. So I'm gonna try and get out there this weekend. Gonna try and get out there next weekend with hopefully with Alex Ator, as he's going to Missouri this weekend. So hopefully I can get some practice in with him next weekend. If not this weekend, I can get Chris Leslo with me, or maybe Grant Yurkovich to come play. And I really need to focus in on me. Putting has been really bad. I haven't really been taking the time to do field work or practice at all, so that's been obviously taking a hit. And I just got to do better. That's all I really got to do. Got to take more time to practice, and I really got to get ready for this tournament, because I got to quit taking these hits on these tournaments. Um, we got the big stretch of tournaments coming up this next few couple weeks, so I got 2 weeks off before it really hits, the season really hits, and as go figure, it's right at the end of the season. So um, huge shout out to Nate Heinold and the Ledgestone crew that ran a great D-Glow tournament. Huge shout out to Team Distor and Distor Nate for always continued support. Be on the lookout for future videos at YouTube, as I haven't been really doing a lot of YouTube videos, as I've been doing, but I have been keeping up on the podcast, so be on the lookout for a new episode. I'm going to try and get some recaps of the tournaments this European Open and also D-Glow. And then I'm also going to try and get Luke Sampson on the show in the future, so be on the lookout for that. But I'm going to try to focus on me this next couple weeks and getting more practice in. Like I said, practice putting and do some field work and get ready for Unstable Open for August 20th through the 21st. But as I always say on my podcast every week, other than that, guys, tell someone you love them this week, because not every day is guaranteed. Hit that like and subscribe button if you have not yet, and be on the lookout for more videos. I am Cody Intervold, PDGA member 148739. This has been my final round recap of the Discraft Great Lakes Open that took place this past weekend in Milford, Michigan, and I will see you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Peace.